Good morning, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today we're going to do a twin flame reading. And as you can hear, I'm really not awake yet, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, deep breaths, everyone. As always, feminines. Oh, that's interesting. I always do masculine on the left, feminines on the right, but that's really interesting. We're going to do feminines on the left today, masculines on the right, union energies down the center. Okay, for feminines. Deep knowing in reverse. So feminines are working on their intuition, which is fueled by self-esteem, which completely fuels our discernment, right? So the more self-esteem we have, the more trust we have in self. What else? Feminines, we have co-create in reverse, and we have poised. Yeah, so feminines, you're ready to take action based on your... Let me say this. You are poised and ready for the next step of your journey, feminines. You know how to co-create with spirit, but something's holding you back. Something's holding you back. Maybe it's an insecurity. Maybe it's, just old patterns that no longer serve you. It's funny. We could spend our whole life in a pattern and then we actually break it and we know we broke it and we know we would choose differently. And yet sometimes we show up and we're not really sure what to do. We know the old pattern of behavior no longer serves us. We know what it is. We've healed from it. We know that making that same choice again is not in alignment, but sometimes we don't know what choice to make. Sometimes we know how to break the pattern, but we don't really know how to live in this new version of self yet. And so feminines are reconnecting with self, reconnecting with self-love, so that they can really trust in this new level of self, this new embodiment that is arriving. Okay, yeah, and then that directly relates to your own happiness and being able to be a self-sourced, self-contained individual. Beautiful, feminines. And for masculines, what do we got? Okay, we have, is that on camera? There we go. We have chop wood in reverse. I'm going to put this here. And observer. Interesting, masculines. To me, this is saying that it's time to come out of your caves, masculines. It's time to come out of this kind of observer role and take action. Even if you don't see an end sight, it's really easy to have a lot of big dreams and goals when you're looking this far ahead. I mean, look at this fox. He has a little, what are these called? Telescopes? Is that what the single ones are called? The pirate ones? I'm assuming they're a telescope. It's really easy when you have a telescope to see really far in the distance. However, masculines, if you're never taking action on what you're desiring, you're never really going to get closer to that goal. So you're really being called, even if you can't, okay, thank you, Spirit. The message is it's better to take daily action in service to the present moment than it is to be hyper fixated on an end goal without action. Anything else for masculines? Chop wood, carry water, masculines. That's it. Enjoy the heaviness of your axe. That's where we're at. Anything else for masculines? Yeah. I mean, we're getting the same messages over and over again in this, little deck. You have go the distance in reverse. So right now you're stagnant. You're meant to take action. There is movement. I mean, you have a cheetah and it's in reverse. So you have the power to go at this profound speed as long as you're in alignment and in service to your heart and mission. Masculines, do not abandon your heart's deepest truth to be in service to something, because when you finally get to that destination, you will have abandoned this really huge part of self. Okay, and for union energies, coming to the edge, imagine, and we have breathe. Okay. Yeah. Anything else, Spirit, before I talk about it? Anything else? Yes, not for you. Yeah. Okay. I was feeling a little bit of that. Whoops, hold on. I just had an avalanche. Do I take these? I wasn't going to, but okay. And I'm not going to take these. Okay. Let's look. In the unconscious position, we have the orphan card in reverse. So some false, we have a false shadow walking among us. Okay. Feminines and masculines, what's showing up in the union energies is that you are meant to come to the edge of yourself and meet yourself there with clarity, reverence, and grace. To continue to breathe, to ground who you are in your body, to imagine yourself as you desire, to go after these dreams, these goals, these desires, and to penetrate your dreams, your goals, and your desires with profound intuition, with profound discernment, to be able to know what is and is not for you. Yeah. Collectively, there's something not serving the masculine energy right now. You are meant to discern what is not serving the masculine energy and let it go. What is not okay, let's just zoom out for a moment. What's not serving the collective masculine energy right now is hiding vulnerability, is lack of accountability, is not honoring their heart's deepest truth, right? Collectively, throughout the years, masculine energy has abandoned and betrayed themselves and their heart's deepest truth for a more mental, cerebral approach to life. But it doesn't matter what destination you're trying to get to. If you arrive and you do not bring all of these pieces with you, you will arrive fragmented and thus not whole, and thus you will not have access to all of your tools in your toolbox. So again, this isn't about men and women. We all have the masculine and feminine energies within us. So there's something here that needs to be deployed around the discernment with the masculine energy. What no longer serves your masculine energy in your life? You are meant to close the door on whatever this is, because what will come through your creativity, your imagination, your mission-based life is so profound. You're going to need all of your strength. You're going to need to be firing on all cylinders. We cannot afford to abandon or betray any parts of self, feminines and masculines. Okay? All right, where do we want to go next, Spirit? Where do we want to go next? For feminines, please. All right, we have some flippers. Let's see. We have, what am I listening for? Yeah, this is interesting and also totally normal. We started your message, feminines, needing to heal something blocking your intuition, or maybe rather you have access to your intuition clearly, but you're not trusting it. So we have this, what am I listening for? So here's what you're listening for. If you feel strongly that you know what a truth is, but you still feel apprehensive to take action on it, you're listening for the inner saboteur. You're listening for the sabotaging voice that rises up to meet any desire or goal that you have. It's like, I want to buy 10 acres and start a homestead. And then you immediately, when you have that desire, there's this other voice, right? Oh, that's going to be too expensive. That's too complicated. You can't figure that out. You'll never be able to do it. That's the inner saboteur. So you're listening for any sort of sabotaging voice. You're listening to, are there any hidden agendas? Is there anyone or any part of myself trying to sabotage this? You're listening for, any sort of negativity around you? Are there people in my circle, friends, family, loved ones, partners even, that do not have my best interest at heart? You are listening through the circumstances. You are listening above. It's like try to zoom out and get a bird's eye view of your situation and just witness your life from that bird's eye view and deploy that wisdom. Whoops, sorry, I'm knocking everything over. Anything else, Spirit? Whoa. I guess these are for feminine. I wasn't even going to ask more, but it says, how can I deepen trust that my intuition knows the way? I mean, like, hello. And then we have, is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? This is how I know my oracle mechanism is working, because I just talked about this, right? So yeah, how do you know it's time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in your life? How do you know? How do you identify that? Well, it's when you start feeling let down by people, places, and things around you. That's when you know that, hey, wait a second. It seems like collectively things are letting me down. Things are disappointing me. That means you've probably outgrown your surroundings, feminines. That probably means you've outgrown your friends, your job. You have a taste and thirst for something greater than yourself. And I use the word God. You can use whatever word you want, but I know when God gives me the taste for a big desire, it means that I'm meant to become the person that can bring that desire over the finish line, feminines. So yes, how can you deepen your trust that your intuition knows the way? It's completely linked with your self-esteem. So if you're having trouble following your heart's deepest truth, or if you're having trouble taking action and believing what you're intuiting, build your self-esteem. I don't know what that is for you. Like, it could be externally, like it's always really good to move your body, like go in the gym or go for a walk in the woods, or whatever. But it could also be like write a poem, paint a cool painting, build something with your hands, or make some pottery, or do something that builds your self-esteem. It could be helping another. It could be volunteering for an organization. You get out there, you're doing something for a good cause. You meet people, like-minded people. Maybe you make some new friends. Maybe they reflect something new back to you that you never saw about yourself. It's like, get moving, get out in the world, but do not isolate, okay? Feminines, do not isolate. And I think if I could give you, sorry, my brain's not working. Let me take a sip of my hibiscus tea. Hold, please. That is very good, but very hot. Excuse me. If you could take one thing away from this reading, feminines, when you think intuition, think self-esteem. So if you're struggling to get a clear answer, if you have to make a decision and you can't make a decision, check in with your self-esteem. How do you feel about yourself? How can you boost your self-esteem? Do you have is there like one person or family member that really you always just feel better after you leave? Go visit them. Go have a seat with them and just talk about life. Talk about, nonsense. Something about being around people that truly love you for who you are will literally speak excellence over you and into you. They'll speak up to you in a sense of like they will speak to the higher self in you, and it will ignite something within. Okay, for masculine spirit, for masculines. Maybe I should do readings when I'm exhausted. I woke up so early this morning for absolutely no reason. Sorry, let me focus. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit called me out right there. Okay. For divine masculines, anything for... Yes, thank you, Spirit. Hold on. We have... What does this say? Clear. What kind of release would protect clarity in my space? And then we have burn. What is ready to go so I can grow? Wow. Okay. let me see what's in the unconscious, because I need a little bit more, Spirit. I need a little bit more. We have radiate. How am I the light in the darkness? Wow. Okay, masculines. So yeah, okay. Thank you. God, it's such an interesting how feminine and masculines are mirroring one another. Masculines, this is a story about self-esteem. You are pushing away your ability to bring love into chaos. You are pushing away the truth that you can bring light into your own darkness. And I think for masculine collective, for so long they were so used to outsourcing their heart work, their heart labor to an external feminine, that they didn't have to flex those muscles. And what happens when, you don't use certain muscles for a long time? Well, they atrophy, right? They break down, they're not as strong, and we become weaker. So masculines, you're being called to really flex your heart muscles right now and trust in your ability to bring that light into chaos. What kind of release would protect clarity in my space? It's funny, even though this is a different approach to this question here, it's about discernment and clearing out the cobwebs. Clearing out, I don't know why I said clearing out the cobwebs. What I meant was clearing out what no longer serves, masculines. What kind of release, what kind of release would protect clarity in my space? Meaning, who or what do you have to let go of so that you can access your discernment, so that you can feel peaceful and clear and you can make clear decisions? Whose voices do you need to dampen down, dial down? Sometimes we have people in our lives that are left over from old versions of self. And I think most of us have had that experience where if you're on this path of growth and enlightenment, you are constantly changing and growing. And the sad fact is, not everyone can come with you. And so it might be time to sort of, and I don't know if this is an unkind way to say it, but trim the fat. It might be time to just cut off sources or friends or jobs, or it could even be if you're living in a place that has a weird energy to it, it might be time to cut the cords and move on, to really trust in that discernment, to follow the call to greener pastures, masculines. And then, what is ready to go so I can grow? Do you see how these are sort of the same questions? You're being asked to literally just strip down your environment. I'm thinking of a Saint Teresa of Avila quote. She says, to become illuminated, one has to oh my God, do you hear my brain? See, this is what happens when I'm not awake. To be illuminated, one must dismantle their environment around them so that they can contain more God, so that they can contain more truth, so that they can contain more light. This is an energetic accounting. At the end of the day, it's like every day you wake up, you only have so much energy that you can use every single day, right? It's like we could tap into these finite, infinite resources. Oh my God, my brain is, hold on. Let me just take a breath and take another sip of tea. I just mixed up 3 different stories in one story. Spirit, help me out. It is up to us to decide where we allocate our resources. This is the point I'm trying to make. And sometimes stuff can clear, Spirit, what's the word I'm looking for? Cloud. Thank you. Sometimes stuff, physical stuff, like if you have a messy house or a messy apartment, if you have old belongings that you don't use or wear anymore, or if someone else could really use something you have and you really, it just sits there in your house or your basement or your car. These things can cloud our energy. It's up to you, masculines, to really, it's time to purge. It's time to burn all that no longer serves. And I don't mean burn bridges and burn relationships and all these kinds of things. There's a way to intentionally, consciously, and kindly release things that no longer serve. Okay? All right, masculines. Where do we want to go next? Where do we want to go, Spirit? Thank you. Whoops, a daisy. Sorry, I switched my tripod position and now I keep hitting it. So that's that. All right, union energy, spirit, union energies. Thank you so much. We have innocence, a return to innocence. We have warrior princess. Okay, allowing, okay, this is union energies, remember. So for feminines and masculines, you are returning to the strength of this pristine preciousness, this divine innocence. Whoa, okay, I'm not going to take all these, but I will take these. We have new love, right? We are rediscovering this. Hold on. New love, heartfelt apology, and dazzling charm in reverse. I'm just going to put that there just because. Okay, feminines, masculines, who do you have to apologize to? In order to make space for this new love to come in, we have to clean up the relationships we have externally and internally. For a lot of you, like I'm going to dare to say 87% of you, I don't know why it's so specific, but 87% of you, this heartfelt apology is to yourself, is to the parts of self that you've suppressed, the parts of self that you've abandoned in times of need, the parts, the pristine preciousness that you've long left behind in childhood. You're being called to excavate that, this new love of this innocent way of being in the world. You know, it's like the meek shall inherit the earth. I don't care what anyone says. If you have solid intentions and you just show up with kindness to life, that's enough. That's more than enough. More than enough magic will come into your life if you could just maintain that frequency. Yeah, what's being pushed into the shadows is abundance. You know, this is very much mirroring to me the masculine shadow. It's like you have so many gifts that you're pushing away. What's blocking them? It's time to really look at that and take accountability of where are these limiting beliefs? Where did you pick up a story that you're not worthy to have the life that you want, to share the gifts that you want? You know, you wouldn't even be able to identify a gift if you weren't meant to bring it to fruition, if you weren't meant to share it with the world. I'm very drawn to this woman dancing on the edge of this floating cliff, and she has no resources, right? And yet she's being so generous, throwing all her petals all over the place. You know, it's like it's a finite resource, right? She's not attached to land. She can't get more rose petals from somewhere. And yet she doesn't care. She's trusting in the universe. She's trusting that the universe will catch her if she shares her gifts abundantly. Beautiful. Anything else about that, Spirit? Anything else about that? Nope. Switching decks. Hold on. Where are we going? No. Yeah, okay. Wow, I just switched decks 3 times. Okay, Spirit. For union energies. I'm very dry today. Throat chakra. Okay, we have transform, shapeshifter, transform, and unveil your gifts. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for underlining what I shared. Oh, we have one in here. We have a hiding one. It says spring, see your seeds grow. Yeah, some of you have done all this work planting seeds, and it's almost like you're too scared to check on your work. You're too scared to see if there's been a harvest. And I get it. I honor that. I have so much empathy and compassion for that. Because what happens if you go to your garden and see that things have grown? You have to do something about it, right? You have to share your harvest. You have to, get the shovels and start digging or pulling or whatever you do in a garden. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? I'm also very drawn to this rabbit as well. You know, rabbits are symbols of fertility because they reproduce so quickly. And there's something here, again, the message of don't be afraid to spend your abundance. You know, don't be afraid to Okay, thank you, Spirit. Another way if they want me to say this is don't hoard your stuff. Don't hoard your gifts. Don't hoard your love. Don't hoard your money. It's time to really harvest whatever you have and put it into motion because it's not doing you any good locked away somewhere. We have Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Yeah, makes sense. There's a lot of garden agriculture analogies coming through my brain right now. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? No? Is there a specific question you want me to ask? Okay, what are the gifts? Okay. What are the gifts? You tell me. We have mountains, stand your ground. So your ability to discern the truth is going to be really important right now. You have feminines and masculines. You have an abundance of authenticity. And when you have that authenticity, your discernment is impeccable. You see truth because you know truth. So it is safe for you to stand your ground. We also have High Priest, intend and create. And High Priestess, oh my God, harness mystic power. This has never happened to me before. This has never happened to me before. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to put it like this. Look how beautiful this is. We have this as above, so below mountain energy. Wait, no. I got to show you up close. What am I doing? You can't see these little cards. Look at this beautiful as above, so below mountain. And then we have the feminine, the high priest and the high priestess in total union, in total balance. Intend and create and harness your mystical power to stand your ground with whatever you believe to be true, whatever you believe to be your gifts on this planet. That has never happened to me before. If I wasn't awake before, I'm awake now. Spirit, thank you very much. And then we have Witch, be the light. And then let's talk about masculine shadow. Is you had radiate. Whew. Geez, Spirit. It's pretty early for this intensity. Anything else, Spirit? Yes. We have dream and journey. And we also have protection, guardian, drop your shields. Yeah. Masculines, feminines, you're meant to come out and play. You're meant to come out and be who you are and play with your gifts. In the unconscious position, we have magic guardian, unlock the magic within. I mean, come on. I don't know what more there is to say. It's time. It's time, feminines. It's time, masculines. You have everything you need. You have done what you came here to do. You have diligently taken accountability and responsibility for your karma. You have cleaned up your side of the street. And now you have access to your gifts clearly and abundantly. The only thing left to do is to step out, to come to the edge of self and share those gifts in service to this higher mission, higher calling. You've heard me do my readings, and what do I say all the time? I say, what do I need to know about this for the highest and best of myself and the planet, right? That's always the focus. That's always my intention of like, yes, how does this message serve me? But how do then I serve the planet? Because that's what we're here to do. I'm getting teary-eyed. Hold on. Yeah, I have a very dry throat today. It makes sense to me why I'm struggling with my voice. Not only is it because it's early for me and blah, 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 and all the things, but it is really hard to talk about what you've been through, especially if you've been isolated, especially if you've been hermiting away, doing your work quietly and diligently. So it's makes sense, if your throat might go out once in a while, but you're being asked to cultivate your truth and your authentic expression in the world. The only thing I didn't really talk about was this orphan card in reverse. This is a shadow position. So normally if this was upright, I would say, what parts of self have you orphaned? Have you abandoned? But because it was in the reverse, that's a false shadow for me. So the parts that you've abandoned, feminines and masculines, they're not what you think they are. That's all I'm going to say about that. So allow yourself to be surprised. Allow yourself to keep your heart, mind, spirit open to different parts of self that maybe you haven't thought about in a while. Do we want self-care cards? Should we go there already? I'm not going to make this too long today. No, let's get some of these. Okay, Spirit. Anything else? Anything? Oh, whoa. I will take this. We have body. Your body deserves love. Take care of your physical vessel. We have a bunch. We have success. Today is a really good day. You're in the flow. Problems are solved quickly and easily. Helpful people show up for you and unexpected gifts fall into your lap. Then we have, wait, hold on. This was too many. Spirit, can you be clear, please? Can you be clear? Please be clear. Thank you. Thank you. We have self-worth. Elevate. You get what you believe you deserve. It's time to raise your standards. Didn't I say earlier something about flying above the situation? I think it was for feminine energy. Try to get a bird's eye view of your entire life and really have gratitude for the whole journey, right? It's really easy when we're doing our work to get bogged down in these specific pain points and these specific memories, right? It's really easy to get buried in the work, right? You're meant to zoom above and have appreciation for all of it. Have appreciation for yourself. What's being pushed into the shadow are rituals, are daily, virtues, your daily habits of doing good. It says, steady yourself with simple rituals. Do the dishes, fold the laundry, water the plants, make a cup of tea. Let wisdom sneak up on you. This is the great part about when you've reached a critical mass of healing and embodiment, is that you learn that everything you do becomes an inquiry. Everything you do becomes a prayer. You can gain answers and experience from anywhere. You can make, profound connections and have eureka moments, shoveling dog shit. Like there's no boundaries or borders to the amount of wisdom that gets to flow into your life. This is a really, really beautiful thing. And you know what? I have not used my twin flame deck in a very long time. Let me see if I could find it. Hold, please. Beautiful. Let's get a couple twin flame cards. What do we got here? We have Karmic Purge, Mirror Reflection. Didn't I say earlier that the masculine and feminine energies were mirroring one another? And then we have Clearing Karma, Kundalini Activation. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, another part of the Karmic Purge. Like, here's the thing. It's like, when you make soup, say you're making chicken soup, and then what happens if you're using the whole real chicken? You get that layer of fat on top, and then you scrape it off. The thing about taking responsibility and purging karma is you're making soup. You're putting in the ingredients, you're hoping to create something, you're hoping to move, take accountability for these different pieces of your life. And then when you're done making it, you get a bird's eye view of the journey, and you get to like skim off the layer of fat. You are literally like, okay, these are the parts of this journey I want to keep, and these are the parts I don't want to keep. And that's the visual they gave me. You're literally purging the fat at this point. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Sorry, I was quiet right there because I had realized I had said the word fat several times. Like I used the phrase trim the fat, and I was like, Spirit, is there a message in that? I was just asking. And I'm trying to like tiptoe around this gently. Like I'm wondering what the role fat plays in our lives. The human body needs a certain level of fat. The female body needs more fat for different reasons. And, I'm not an expert on this at all, but these are things that I've learned, picked up along the way. Like I think fat has been vilified in our culture, in many cultures. But specifically in the US, it's like, like fat's like a dirty word. And so there's something about reclaiming the necessary and reclaiming the having impeccable discernment over like healthy good fat and toxic unhealthy fat, visceral fat. So yeah, I don't know if there's something in that for someone. Yeah, I've had an interesting personal vulnerable journey with my own fat and with taking accountability for different parts of my body. It's been very difficult. I've had a lot of pain in this body, a lot of back problems, a lot of spine issues, and there's just a lot. Some of my greatest obstacles mentally are these like overcoming physical blocks. And didn't we have body in here somewhere? Yep, boom, there it is. Yeah, overcoming physical blocks. It's so amazing how the mind and body are so profoundly linked, right? It's like one of the best things you could do for your mental health is moving your body. One of the best things you could do for your body is working on your mental health. It's such a symbiotic relationship. And so, Spirit, oh, thank you. This is how I love Spirit. I was about to ask the question and they're like, you're holding the card. I'm like, ah, right. So I was just about to ask, like, can you talk about this relationship between mind and body? And it says heal abandonment. It's time to forgive. It's time to forgive the parts of self that didn't take certain actions or that did take certain actions. It's time to heal the abandonment, to heal whoever you perceive wronged you. It's time to just forgive because you don't need to carry the weight of all of that crap. It's time to just let it go. Really, really beautiful. I just happened to look in the unconscious position. Yeah, listen, if you're walking this twin flame hierogamy path, hierogamy means like higher, this divine union, this sacred marriage, this higher way of relating in the world. The higher you go, the more grounded you're going to need to be. So what's being pushed into the shadow is grounding. I get it when you start getting really good at doing this work. I get how exciting it is. I understand how you just want to hit the ground running, and when you make one connection, you all of a sudden want to make 20 more, and it's like goes on and on and on. However, it's really easy to get lost in the sauce, feminines and masculines. So your task here is to stay grounded. Is there anything else? I'm just going to get a quick Buddha wisdom. I'm just going to pick one and I'm going to shuffle. It says, find joy in giving. Happiness is your reward. Didn't I say earlier in this to, maybe get out there and be in service? Yeah, there's something about like not keeping all of your newly discovered gifts to yourself, to actually put them in motion, put them out in the world. Okay, beautiful reading. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I was so tired, but I'm happy we got this out. And I'm sending you all so much love and grounding. All right, I'll see you in the next one.